Marvelous hello, friends and loved ones, how are you today? If you're a fan of my show, then chances are you watch some of the other shows of people on YouTube talking about video games. And in my opinion, there are few greater than the folks from Normal Boots. Pro Jared, Peanut Butter Gamer, Jontron, The Completionist, Satchbag, the list goes on. And I often find myself wondering, how cool would it be to just hang out with these guys and play video games? But sometimes you also find yourself wondering, what would it be like to date them? Well, now we can wonder no more with the release of Asagao Academy.
This game was made pretty famous back when the Kickstarter was running because it just seemed like such a fun idea. A visual novel dating sim where you date some of your favorite YouTube stars. Perfect! The game was released in late April 2016 to the enjoyment of not only the fans, but the suitors of the game as well. You play as Hana, a plucky, pink-haired main character who is transferring to Asagao Academy. On the train ride there, she meets a mysterious fellow who is gorgeous. Oh, he's so gorgeous. Oh, I'm totally gonna date this man. Hold on. Let's wait and meet some of our other bachelors. First up, you've got Jontron, who's head of the drama club. Then there's Satch, who works in the library. PBG is big on the soccer team. Shane is a total jerk. Gerard is an avid toy collector, worthy of being called the completionist. And the three boys from Continue work on the newspaper and are involved in student council. Together, they all make up the Normal Boots Club. These are the cool kids with their special jackets, and they're the most popular kids in school. And this girl is your roommate and best friend, Mai, and wait, she likes Jared? Well, of course she does! He's gorgeous! Look at his sweet modeling headshots! At the start of the game, Mai shows you around and helps introduce you to everybody. You spend a fair amount of time just getting some one-on-one scenes with all the different guys to help you figure out which one you want to go out with. Overall, the writing is really enjoyable, and the characters are a lot of fun. One of the coolest things about this project is that all of the YouTubers lent their voices to it. The game isn't fully voice acted or anything, but still, hearing Gerard actually say, "Complete it!" in the game made it a lot of fun. The only one who didn't seem to provide their own voice was Jacques. What can I say? I guess he just wanted too much money or something. So now that Hana has been accepted by the cool kids, she learns that every year there's a big video game tournament they all compete in, and through her hard work, persistence, and most importantly of all, being a main character, she's eventually given the chance to compete for their team in the puzzle game competition, because she's pretty good at a mobile game. For the record, I don't think this Dumby Doom game exists, but if it does, I want to play it. I mean, it sounds like a mix of Puzzle Fighter, Pokemon, Harvest Moon, and, other things. And of course, what would a tournament be without your top rivals? Aside from all the Normal Boots guys, you also get to meet a lot of the Hidden Block folks, including, but not limited to, Brutal Moose, Jimmy Wetzel, Kadikarus, Youngtown, and of course, the game is loaded with lots of fun little nods and references to other video games. Harvest Noon, Animal Intersection, Stupendous Stomping Sisters. Oh, it's just too much adorableness and I can't take it all in. The first chapter of the game is the longest, since like I said, you spend most of it meeting all the different guys and making quite a few choices that'll lead you towards your end path. Like most visual novels, this is the primary game mechanic. The game certainly has an emphasis on the novel part, as it plays more like a choose-your-own-adventure book.
If you want to stare dreamily into Pro Jared's eyes, turn to page 86. If you want to nuzzle lovingly into his chest, turn to page 17.
Also, just for the record, Little Glittering Jared Babies is my new band name. The first major event of the game is the Flower Festival. Towards the end of the first chapter, you'll sit down and have a serious chat with Mai where you'll make the biggest decision of your life. You choose the Normal Boots Club member you want to date for the rest of the game. Given my available choices, I'm assuming you can only choose to invite guys if you've already unlocked certain events with them. I'll confess, originally I was gonna shoot for Pro Jared. I mean, he's the first guy you meet, he's charming, he looks out for you, and did I mention that he was so pretty? I mean, look, he sparkles! But, I'm sorry, Jared. My best friend Mai has the hots for you, and it's sisters before misters, professional Jared. Rather than risk my friendship with Mai over a guy, regardless of how so pretty he is, I'll have to let Jared go. In all seriousness, I actually had trouble finding any initial connection with the rest of the suitors. The first time you meet them, the guys from Continue make you run off in tears. Jontron tries to cast you in his production of Romeo and Juliet as a tree. Shane is Shane. And I actually didn't get much interaction with Satch. I'm guessing due to an early decision I made not to bring the book he lent me with me. But that's sort of the great thing about this game. You aren't constantly making decisions, but every decision still has you wondering, How will this affect things? What would have been different if I'd chosen a different option? Honestly, I was considering going after Gerard because I admired his friendliness and his passion for his collection, but in the end, the heart wants what it wants, and my heart wanted PBG.
I mean, who wouldn't want to fall in love with that guy? Just look at this face!
So after working up all my courage, I asked PBG if he'd like to go to the Flower Festival with me, and he was delighted to. My heart was aflutter as I asked him to join me, and I could tell his was too. Truly, this was the start of something special. PBG and I enjoyed a romantic evening at the festival, eating snacks, telling stories, putting an ice pack on me because I got elbowed in the face by a total stranger. The usual stuff. And it was in that moment, PBG made a special request of me. He wants me to call him by his real name? Austin? Ha! Okay. You got me, game. Though, someone actually does call him Austin later in the game. Not me, though, but it's okay, because it was Jared. I'll forgive him, because he's so pretty! Now, I'm trying not to give away any super-duper spoilers here that might hinder one's enjoyment of the game, because as a visual novel, everyone deserves to enjoy the story for themselves. But I guess consider this your spoiler warning from here on out, in case I give something really big away. Around halfway through the game or so, there is even a hot spring scene. Because this is a visual novel game that takes place in Japan. I'm pretty sure hot spring scenes are mandatory. And while the hot spring scene is pretty funny and a little fan-servicey, they managed to turn it into a pretty nice moment between PBG and I. I meant PBG and Hana. Because Hana is the one dating him. Not me. That'd be silly. There are a few big events that happen throughout PBG's route, one of the first being that Hana starts getting these weird secret admirer letters in the form of horribly written poetry. I mean really bad poetry. Like on the level of... Oh, wait, I did that joke in my last video. Sorry, moving on. Now, I don't want to spoil who the secret admirer is, so we'll just move on to the next event of the PBG arc. Soccer! Soccer is such a big deal with Mr. Pubaga that he is willing to put himself at risk of physical exhaustion and emotional distress for the sake of it. And then he gets scary. So scary that we're going to talk about something else. Like when he invited me to a midnight release for Animal Intersection, and we huddled together for warmth in the cold, and it's so sweet and cuddly, and I'm so happy, and he totally bought me my own copy of Animal Intersection, and we're going to play it together, and visit each other's villages, and really grow as a couple, and it's going to be the bestest, most funnest time ever. Except it never actually happens, but, you know, the buying of the game was still a really nice moment. The game wraps up with the big video game tournament. Hana is competing in the puzzle category against Brutal Moose, and wins using the power of being awesome. She gets to be an official member of the Normal Boots Club, and is presented with her own jacket. Then PBG and I have a deep conversation where we profess our love to one another, and... this is the best day ever! PBG-Senpai noticed me! Now, I found out that I got the best ending, which tells me there are probably ways I could have screwed this up. I'm sure there are PBG endings where you don't get that kiss you've been dreaming of ever since you first watched his Harvest Moon Animal Parade episode. Maybe there are endings where you do get the kiss, but lose the video game tournament. I'm sure that even with choosing one guy, there's a lot of ways to get different scenes and endings to keep it replayable. The website boasts that in the 7 different routes and 2 hidden side routes this game has to offer, there are a grand total of 43 endings. So the stuff I've talked about here today may not even apply to your personal experiences, even if you also decide to date PBG. Also, I see there's a completion bonus. Gerard, you better get on that, man. I expect an episode on this game. Don't let us down. Like I said, I've only played through the game once at the time of recording this video, but I'm looking forward to seeing some of the other endings. One of the endings apparently has you with Jacques of all people. I mean, a human girl dating a bird in a high school setting? Ludicrous. Positively preposterous. Overall, I really liked Asagao Academy. Sure, the characters were a little tropey at times, but it worked for the setting, and the writing was solid. The concept kept it all really enjoyable, and for someone who's a fan of all these YouTubers, it was really cool and interesting to see them all in this sort of project. I'm probably going to keep playing it after I finish this video, just to see some of the other stories. Does Gerard ever get his Princess Pumpernickel figure? Does Jared get his fashion show? Does Shane ever... Is John's play a smashing success? All these questions and more can be answered by playing through this delightful story, and you can play it yourself because the game is absolutely free. You can drop some cash if you want to show your support to the developers. I certainly did just for the experience, but even if you don't, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, I can't recommend it more.
And now, PBG, What we had was special, maybe even magical. But it's time for us to drift away in the wind, like a stereotypical swarm of cherry blossoms. I will never forget you. What? Have you seen this guy? He's gorgeous!
Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video on Asagao Academy. I really enjoyed playing through this and had a lot of fun talking about it. If you want to check it out yourself, check out the link in the description below to get a copy of it. Let me know what your experiences were with the game. Who did you date? Did it go well? I want to hear all about it. If you like this video, please consider clicking that subscribe button or give this video a like. If you'd like to see my latest video, I went over Hamtaro Ham-Hams Unite. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care. Oh, and as a post-credit scene to my game, let's just say I'm glad I didn't go after Jared, because it looks like he and Mai are hitting it off just swimmingly. Good for you, Mai. You deserve to be happy. Go have little glittering Jared babies.